Daystar have already lost Cafe twice at the Six Invitational, but maybe third time will be the charm. If it's not, it's 3 strikes and you're headed to the lower bracket. That's what's at stake for the young APAC team, going against one of the heavy favorites for the Six Invitational, playing in their hometowns. Falcons coming into this matchup with a lot of expectations. They get right into the operator ban phase, taking out the Grim from Daystar, making sure they can't take out some of those power positions with the displacement operator of Grim. Valkyrie off the board immediately from Daystar. Not the most common ban these days, but so powerful on a map like Cafe. Blitz makes a lot of sense, I think, from Falcons. And then the Solus getting removed from Daystar. That is some respect being shown to Liquifak, who has consistently over the last couple of years proven himself as arguably, I'm just going to say it, the best Solus in the world.
Oh my. Quite the praise. When Solus got buffed, a lot of people were very excited for Liquifak to be reunited with that operator. And I mean, Cafe is also a terrific map for Solus. The way that this map works is it's very, very vertical, right? You can put a Solus down on that first floor irrespective of the bomb site. If you're defending that top floor, Solus can roam underneath you as well. The usual wisdom is that you're going to play the top floor on down, but Cafe being as vertical as it is, you're often going to find teams will play below the site quite frequently. We can't really go below the bottom floor. There's no basement to Cafe, at least not one that we know is available, so they're going to extend upwards on the side of Falcons. You saw that Solotov had taken the Mira up there, and if both Black Mirrors go in that position, they might be incredibly helpful. No, he's bringing them back downstairs, so he ran up top, and he will change his mind.
Probably just reinforcing something. A lot of, I would say the majority of teams in today's meta, Parker, commit to a 5-man bottom floor hold. Roaming is done from time to time, of course, but it used to be a lot more popular than it currently is. These days, if you do see a roamer, often it's one rat guy playing top floor, going for a spawn peek, trying to be a little bit cheeky. None of that today. Falcons showing respect to the young APAC team of Daystar, knowing that this team can be deadly if they can get a hot start. The APAC lineup also consists of both the Buck and the Ram, so it makes it pretty obvious what style of rounds they want to go for. They're going to claim these top couple of floors. And even though we can see that they're free, there's nobody actually playing on these floors from Team Falcons, Daystar aren't going to know that. They're still going to have to waste their own time, drone things out, be as efficient as possible, and then once they deem these floors to be clear, start working on the floorboards, rip open these angles, make some pressure be applied to Falcons, and hopefully work a pick from the bird.
Apologies for Jesse slipping the tongue.
I'm usually not up this early, Parker.
He's usually not up this early. These are not gamer hours.
No.
And he hasn't had a croissant coffee, so.
Yeah, that's true.
I did have a croissant this morning.
I did have a coffee, but no croissant.
Look at that. Together, we are one man. Croissant.
Croissant.
We got corrected by our French producer in our ear for overpronouncing croissant. I think that means we get deported from France. If you don't like a croissant, they just send you home.
I showed up to the the show today. I said, "Je m'appelle Jesse, je no français."
It was worth an attempt. You are from Alberta.
Yeah, I do my best.
Nitro Sun goes out. Azuki taking a little bit of damage. Not much beyond that now as we have flown through this round. 2 minutes already gone in round number 1. As it's a red stairs hold from Shaiko. And look at how close he is going to come to these players. But he knows something we don't. Goodbye, Souffle. Now it's Seal taking some damage from above.
Shaiko had his croissant this morning. That was a beauty shot. 45 seconds to try to make something happen for Daystar. They've got to take this defuse kit likely through Freezer, but unable to find that pick, unable to get that trade back. This push has got to come sooner rather than later. I
find a little interesting about this. They actually had a very correct yellow ping on Shaiko's location, and yet the Buck of Seal did not shoot at the yellow ping. He shot around it. So I don't know if maybe he was anticipating that Shaiko had moved or if it was an imprecise ping that was called by his teammates, but could have easily taken Shaiko out of that position. Daystar stalling out a little bit on this map. Nitro Cell in hand for Brede, ready to defang this execute, and there it goes. Goodbye to Seal. Goodbye to Azuki. Can any of these remaining players get a single pick? Pecan with defuse kit in the midst of the site. Very limited time. Uses some Brede command. I believe that was a team kill. Or sorry, a team ace.
It may have been. Did Brede not get 2 in the midst of that with the Nitro and then with the shotgun right at the end?
He did. He did. It might have been Solotov getting the kill on the down from Bride. This is something that the game doesn't register. So if you get the down and then somebody secures it, technically it's the person who got the down that's credited with the kill, but a lot of times it'll show up as the person who got the final kill.
Wow. Either way, not the best start for Daystar. Obviously, that push, they got the early part down pretty nicely. I mean, it was no issue clearing through the top couple of floors with no roamers up there, but no real pressure on the VIP player of Bride that whole round. We saw Azuki pressuring towards him early. We watched Azuki shoot the default cam, shoot out the gas pipe as well. So he cleared some of that utility there, but just trying to use the smoke to block that Nitro Cell, of course, that's going to get read by Bride with nobody able to pressure the hard support player of Falcons in the midst of that push. He was easily able to stop that freeze drop before it got going. Even if he hadn't, numbers were favoring Falcons thanks to this flank up by Shaiko. I think really nice recognition to realize that the util game was maybe getting a little out of hand. Shaiko allowed that Electroclaw to get shot down inside a coat check, which was going to open up a really nice angle from him playing in coat. So why not make a move, get out of that position, and try to make something happen. He is hungry for more, but looks like he just missed out on the spawn peak.
Yeah, I mean, you've already caught Daystar in that very first round, looking a little bit slow, maybe too slow for comfort. They pulled off that execute with, what, 11 seconds, 12 seconds, something along those lines. Slow. It was very, very tricky. I mean, you did lose Souffle early-ish. Lost him about 50 seconds prior, but I don't know how much that actually impacts the overall ebb and flow of this round. So now, with the roam spread out across Cafe, Falcons holding strong map control, Daystar needs to use those drones to great effect. They've still got plenty of time to do that and lots in pocket. Solotov also roaming. He's been quite formidable. Have to be concerned with this double Shaiko Solotov roam, and they've spotted Leaky Fac as well. These are great drones from Daystar. Yeah, the information should be strong, but does Pecan know that there's two players in that mid floor? Obviously saw Leaky Fac on the drone. Solotov is going to be a bit of a mix-up, though. I'm not sure if they would expect two players to be down here. Azuki will be the first to fall for Daystar as he eats a Nitro Cell from Solotov up towards the top floor. It's very important that Pecan can get one of these opening picks. He's been the best player on Daystar all event, and he gets one, but not both, on the mid-floor roam clear. They'll trade out, so down goes Solotov, but Leaky Fac gets one of his own. I'd say that's a major win here for Falcons. Taking out the Buck, taking out the Lion. Those are huge pieces of utility. Now you're left with an Ashe and a Striker, so you've got secondary utility, but this is a frag-heavy lineup on the side of Daystar, and that's something that they have struggled with. And against Falcons, a lot of teams do struggle with that. Yeah, I mean, you lose the Turk, but you're very much going to take that trade if you're Falcons. Just a Mozzie, not a lot of util off the board. They've conceded Cigar at this point, so they're happy to let Daystar walk on in, but with the mirror windows, castle barricades, all of this utility, getting into sight is really going to be a tough task. They got the breach into piano, which is nice, but they haven't cleared it still. No one on the windows, so users can just remain in this spot, finds one kill hunting for another. Happy to bide his time. Final boss of France, Shaiko, holding court. Leaky Fac now edging his way over towards Seal, and he will get credit with the kill. Shaiko gets yet another. And it's a terrific start for the Frenchman and his four teammates. Shaiko, the highest-rated player in this lobby, and the highest-rated player, of course, on his team. Solotov and Pecan are very close behind, but, I mean, when you're Shaiko, you do Shaiko things, it's tough. I couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, we don't have great mics, unfortunately, for the B stream, and also I don't believe I speak Mandarin, so... believe he said, guys, what are we doing to start, though? Yes, I got that part. There is English proficiency on the side of Daystar, but naturally they'll speak in their native language, because why would you hinder yourself by speaking a language you are potentially fluent in, but not as strong in? That's Harambe, coach of Daystar, former player with some of these guys back on the... also former Gorilla. Yes.
Yes, former Gorilla as well.
Reincarnated as a Rainbow Six coach.
What I hope Harambe is telling to the Daystar guys is to try to do something about some of these opening picks, Parker. It feels like before Daystar can really get going with their game plan, they're consistently losing those bodies early, whether it was the Nitro Cell to Azuki the previous round or that flank up red stairs from Shaiko back in round number 1. Daystar are always getting into this execute with a sizable disadvantage. And some teams can adapt from that. We've seen some teams at this event who have been very good at pulling back some of those disadvantages and making plays happen anyways. Black Dragons did a great job of that yesterday against G2, winning a map without while losing 14 opening duels. But Daystar, I don't know if they're as proficient in that adaptability. So pulling things back is going to be a real challenge for them. I want to see them start off a little bit stronger, find some way to shut down the aggression from Falcons.
Yeah, their entries were not particularly strong, and they were battling the clock as much as they were battling those Falcons players. Yeah. Here's a little interesting observation, Jesse. We have not casted Daystar yet. The way that our broadcast works, is there's a Shaiko spawn peak coming in.
Again.
Oh, God. Peacon's on the other side of it. Okay, there we go. We don't get to see the operator cards when you are watching the broadcast because it is usually taken over by player cams and shots from the bench. True. The only times you tend to see those player cards are when... Goodbye, Seal.
Tough.
That's a tough one. That's Diffuser taken out as well. Azuki gunned down by Shaiko. Shaiko went for the run out, so there is a collapse by Souffle, but Uses is there for the assist on White Stairs.
Parker, I'm sure you were about to make a great point.
I'm sorry, I didn't expect half of the server to die in the first 40 seconds.
Yeah.
But it happened.
Another one is Saltov down from the window of Jogor. That S-Charge should be able to clear the Kiba. They finish him off. There's Pecan getting the final frag.
You say this is not about his name. I saw a Reddit thread about aligning in regards to the pronunciation of players' names. But whether you say Pecan or Pecan is a very contested thing in North America. Especially when you get into America in particular. Especially with like aunt versus aunt.
Yeah.
Do you say pecan or pecan?
I would say pecan.
All right.
Personally. But I don't judge those who are different from me.
That's just not true.
What?
What do you think of Calgary?
I think I feel bad for them. The Flames are pretty tough. And their pop stars are having a rough time right now.
So the point that I was going to make is that we don't usually get to see those player cards. And because we haven't casted Daystar, we don't know what their player cards they're running. But in this match, you, the audience, don't get to see this. But we can tell you, every single member of Daystar is running the M80 player card.
Wow.
Why M80? Best team to beat Falcons at Munich. So
True.
A little bit of cheekiness. Pecan last alive against two players from Falcons who have yet to die. Bride and Usis surviving all the way through these 2 rounds. It's a bit of a frightening smoke by Pecan. He takes a bit of damage, and the crossfire comes out. Usis credit with the final kill. Timeout not really doing all that much, but admittedly, more kills this round for Daystar. So slight improvement, but Falcons still in full control, off to a 3-0 start. You were referencing Tate McRae, weren't you?
I mean, Parker, they did get more kills that round than what we've seen from Daystar previously. But remember what I said right before that round when we were talking about the tag timeout.
I forget everything you say immediately.
I wanted them to try to stop the Falcons' aggression, to stop the early kills so that they could get a real solid 5-man push together. And that is the exact opposite of what ended up happening, of course, because Falcons ended up getting even more aggressive spawn peaks, runouts, wild swings into players on windows. And sure, they trade out to the 2v2, but they never once actually had a man count advantage. And even when it was even numbers, I felt Falcons had better positioning because they were the ones who had gotten those kills. They were the ones that were consistently trading them back. So it still felt like a round where Falcons were in control, and it still feels like the early game is something that Daystar have not been able to get a handle on at all.
We did actually just get to see the operator cards there, so huge assist from our producer. Thank you very much, Bruno. Greatly appreciated, and then obviously the audience gets to see that as well. This was the run out and then the trade back so effectively. Falcons have been keeping in lockstep through these 3 rounds, Jesse.
Yeah.
They've been mobbing this Daystar team every opportunity they get, and I mean, if you come into this matchup thinking, okay, Daystar is a cut below us, even though we are equivalents in the standing, we are equals, we know we're the better team. We've just had a worse run of it so far. Maybe you've had some bad puck luck. You don't really know, right? You could still use this to work on your fundamentals.
Yeah.
This is the third round in a row of the Shaiko spawn peak in the exact same window.
He's the exact
Not
same.
once has anybody taken the bait.
The first round, somebody did exit that way, and a few shots were exchanged. None of them hit on either side, but you know what? I appreciate the dedication to his craft, as Shaiko will continue to try that, I guess, until he gets punished. This is kind of what I was talking about when I talk about the kitchen meta on Cafe, Parker. We do have a roam, but it's just a solo roam from Lickifak on the Scopos. Everybody else is still happy to play back down on that bottom floor. Shaiko able to assist from these red stairs, but Lickifak doesn't seem to need the assist. Opening pick onto Seal, then can teleport right back down to the bottom floor. You lose the buck. That's a big loss on a bomb site like Kitchen Cafe. You still have Souffle, so the soft breach is still going to be strong, but either way, it's another early pick for Falcons that goes untraded.
All 4 opening picks for the Falcons at this point, and Lickifak breaks their streak of it being an S-named player getting it. Solotov got it in the previous 2 rounds. Shaiko got it in round number 1, so Lickifak just having to ruin the party. Saw that Black Dragons G2 game yesterday where G2 got 14 consecutive first bloods. Of course, the record as far as we're aware is 15 first bloods. G2 fell short as it was a flawless end to that first map, so obviously they can't get a kill if they get flawlessly beaten. Interesting to see how long this streak for Falcons goes on for. Jesse, just a little bit over a minute to go, and your pretty typical work on that middle floor, as it won't be a perilous drop into the site. The Blackbeard of Jogor getting much closer, faster than we saw.
And I really want to see heavy pressure on Bride. They're applying it now. He's not on the mute this time around. He's on the Echo, but it's still his job to stop this freezer drop. He was devastating to the push last time. They're going to push him with shields now.
And immediately he gets off, and he's doing all this work himself. Never mind. A great bait mate, as it's Souffle and Azuki. Daystar reduced to just 2 players. Nobody in a body bag yet on the side of Falcons. So Solotov has taken quite the beating. Souffle positioned on these brown stairs. Azuki not far off on the window. The remainder of Solotov is caught and disposed of. 30 seconds remain, so you got to battle the clock yet again. And Falcons are so forward in this defense. They are not letting off at all. Look at this beachhead that's been established. Bride maybe a bit too aggressive for his own liking. Shaiko has gone undroned inside of Whiskey. Oh my. Ignore him at your peril. Shaiko still in this spot. Eviscerates Souffle, and Azuki gets punished by Lickifak. Does not look like Falcons have had to break much of a sweat at all, as they are indomitable. 4-0.
It looks easy, but it looks easy.
I wouldn't do K-Strat, I would do Shaiko as a Mistrats. Shaiko, you can play whatever you want. I can play 2 bar pixel, I wouldn't even play... I can play Clash to be honest, I didn't play here.
I can even start in piano Zobel with Mozi. I can start with Mozi piano Zobel. Do you guys hear me?
What's the
I can start piano Mozi.
No, don't need. I'm playing Clash.
I can confirm he is playing the Clash, excellently called by Lickifak. And listen, yes, Falcons, it might look easy for now, Parker, but it's coming off of some really good strats that they have been playing against Daystar. I love that VIP adaptation. The first time, it's very simple from Bride. He just goes for the mute. It's not that complicated of a hold inside of VIP. But the second time, he is literally expecting them to bring shields to clear him out. So he brings a shield counter. He brings the yokai, and instead of taking that fight himself, he disorients so that Lickifak playing over towards... I mean, his teammates can play over towards Whiskey, can stop that fight before it even gets to him. It's such a big brain move to come out from Falcons. They're very aware of what Daystar want to do. Shaiko will go to his morning post, as he does every start of the round, and try his spawn peek for the 4th time in a row.
You know, here every morning Shaiko wakes up and goes, oh, I'm going to go spawn peek, and then he goes and gets a nice cup of Folgers. So... I also think that if you are French and you drink Folgers, they deport you as well. So there are a lot of rules for this country about food. Uses with the run out, almost catches Seal on that repel. Seal looking quite surprised. I would be as well. This aggression from Falcons is not unheard of, Jesse, but is a bit abnormal when they play up against, let's say, more experienced opponents.
Well, I think it's a clear part of the game plan coming into this, right? They don't want Daystar to be allowed to set up for the pushes that they want to go for. Maybe they've identified that as a weakness on Daystar, that they do struggle to adapt when things start to go awry, and that's definitely been what's happening so far in this game. The top floor will be attempted for the second time by Daystar to try to attack it, this time successfully. They did ban the Azami, so Shaika was playing this previously. He's moved over to the Jaeger, just currently playing on Cigar, so a very forward hold. Likifac, as calmed in the pregame, playing on this clash, giving a lot of information that Shaiko could try to make some moves with. But it's Saltov who strikes first. Another opening pick. He's up to 3.
Goodness gracious. Seal 0-5. He has been the first to die through the last 3 consecutive rounds. It's not a position you want to be in. Jogor taking quite a bit of damage too now as Izuki fires away at that clash shield. Likifac seemingly putting down the shield, and it's a full sweep as we still have over a minute to go, and Daystar is just souffle. Outside, on Repel, looking at the clash. A really damning position to be in. Do bear in mind that Daystar called their timeout after the second round, so there's nothing to stop them from slowing this bleeding. No tourniquet can be applied here. Credit to Souffle for still playing this one out. It would not be that uncommon to see a player just sit on the roof, take some time, talk through it, work through it, center yourself for the second half, but he decides to go for it. He dies, and it's a flawless round by Falcons as they win their 5th. But this is quite a tough start for Daystar.
Parker, I'm looking into the numbers right now to see if we can get this confirmed, but there are currently only 7 kills from Daystar across 5 rounds. That's the entire team put together, and to me that feels like one of the lowest team kill counts we have seen at this Six Invitational. It's certainly not a season-long or a global record, but for this SI, I'm not sure if we've seen a beatdown this one-sided. It feels like every single round, Falcons are in control from the very start, from the moment that Shaiko goes for his spawn peak until the moment the last player on Daystar drops. It is Falcons who are in the driver's seat of this game. They've got a multitude of different strategies that they're bringing out on this matchup. Every single time they return to a site, they've got a new idea, they've got a new operator they want to play. This time it's the Clash, which allows even more aggression around Cigar. And listen, I don't know if they play like that. I don't know if they push the Clash up to top red if they're playing against maybe an M80 or a FaZe Clan, but against Daystar they feel confident, and it does pay off.
Last time they went to this bomb site, the only minor adjustment was the Malusi that was being played by Yuzis, swapped out now for the Ella. The other 4 operators were relatively similar. Again, the Azami ban will change things a little bit, so Mozzie, who has played in basically every other round, has to come out because of the Azami ban, so you can't run with the same lineup, and Azami was a major pain for this Daystar team, but I mean, that's strategically. I don't know if there's any operator that hasn't been a pain for Daystar up to this point. As we hit the final round of this first half, Yuzis the only player to survive through the entire run of this map. It's been an incredible go for him. That obviously is largely because Daystar has not won a single round yet and are only mustering a couple kills on average. This is such a gutsy.
Oh my god. Dude.
What do you do?
What do you do?
What do you do?
God, that was a nasty flick from Shaiko.
Jogor gets sent to map number 2.
Bye-bye.
He doesn't get to play for the next at least 2 rounds.
Another terrified of this hatch, Parker. They're praying Shaiko has left. He has indeed, but he's not gone far. Now wants one on the skylight, but nobody's here to challenge him.
So now you can eat buffet. Shaiko's going back for seconds. He's now defending. He was just peeking the main skylight.
Yes.
If somebody did this in one of your games, you would be losing your mind. Not yours. I just mean like in general.
Yeah.
And yet Shaiko does it, and well, I mean, to be fair, most of my teammates are not Shaiko. So
Hey, Jogor did lose his mind about it.
He did. Seal almost dies to a nitro cell, tossed out. There he goes. The remainder of him will follow. Izuki in the ground too. Falcons with shovels in hand as Souffle and Pecan are last 2 left. Down goes Pecan, and it's Souffle. These team names making me hungry. About as hungry as Falcons. Shaiko with 10 kills And the 6th round is not done yet. And guess who's back?
God.
Oh my God, no, guys, he's feeling it. He's feeling the boys.
He's feeling something.
Dude,
God damn.
What do you do?
He's really inevitable, isn't he, Parker?
What do you do?
Shaiko in full form at the Six Invitational puts up one of the cleanest mechanical rounds that we have seen since the event began. Daystar, I mean, you've got to find some way around this guy. You've got to pre-fire the angle. You've got to get a drone, but it's just the mental's got to be so crushed at this point for the APAC squad on their own map pick. Not a single attacking win here on Cafe. They will swap to the better side, but I'm not sure it's going to matter much. Shaiko will still have a gun in his hand, whether he wants to play his old-fashioned Ash that he used to bring out all the time, whether he wants to rely back on that Grim, which has been his most played attacker so far. He's played a lot of Flores, Deimos. He's got the options. The guns will be available for him, Parker. And Daystar are shaking in their boots. They do ban Shaiko's most played operator here at the Six Invitational. That's a bit of respect.
Yeah. I just... What is there to say?
If he jumps in and aces round 7 on the gridlock, we might need to just skip map 2 entirely.
I'll allow it.
I fear at that point, what's the point, you know?
This is Daystar's map.
Yeah, I mean, I did mention the last 2 times they played at the Six Invitational, they lost 7-2 to Wildcard and 7-1 to Furia. I was skeptical of the map pick to begin with from Daystar. It isn't a common map for Falcons. They haven't played it too much. They've only played it twice since Stage 2 began, about midway through last year. But, I mean, they've got the footage on you. Daystar, the results have not been there. They clearly think there's something to this map, but at some point, I feel like you got to hang it up, and this needs to be a bit of a wake-up call for them.
Yeah. 0-3 on the map that you like to play is not exactly a great number.
No, especially
No.
when you've got 3 rounds total across those 3 plays.
Yeah. And that's because they have 0 rounds right now here on Cafe, seemingly getting worse.
Yeah, it has gotten worse every time. Their first loss was 7-2.
Regressed. 7-2, 7-1, now 7-0.
Yeah, that's a worrying trend line. At least they can't go down from here, right?
We speak with a bit of humor in our words, not to insult Daystar, but because we don't want to bring the mood down.
Yeah.
But this really is quite a frustrating situation for Daystar. We get it. They have 7 kills across 6 rounds. I mean, we've had 7-0s here, and we've had some 2-0 stomps. We've actually had a lot of 2-0 stomps for an international event.
Yep.
And then we've had some unbelievably competitive best-of-3s. But this has got to be one of the poorest performances in terms of kills. First opening pick, and Seal will run out. Now Falcons knows what it feels like as Solotov is gunned down. Leaky Fact dies to Pecan. And there's only 3 players remaining from Falcons with a minute off of the clock. Shaiko had the read, but he loses the duel to the Ronian hands of Izuki. And it does not look like a 7-0 will materialize, Jesse. Unless Brede and Uzis can pull off a 2v5, this one will go 1 more round.
Bit of a taste of their own medicine. Not so fun when you're on this side, is it, Falcons? A little run out from Daystar, aggressive swings. I do love to see that from this primarily rookie team. They're coming out, they're playing confident. They know they're down 6-0, but they don't seem to care, Parker. This is exactly the attitude you need if you're going to pull back a 6-0 deficit. I know it feels far off at this point, but it's the only thing that they can really play for now that they're in this position. They forced Falcons down to a 2v5. They're all on the roof. This shouldn't be possible, especially with that clash on the board being played by Pecan. The information isn't bad from Falcons, but just getting in, dropping some of these hatches should be really, really difficult, and getting to the bomb site even tougher.
I mean, Uzis still hasn't died. He's going to put that streak on the line, right? And he's in about as close as you can get at this point in time. Oh my, there goes Brede, Joe Gore, and the Maestro working well together. Uzis with 1 kill. Could you imagine a 1v5 clutch?
No way.
He said, I'm not dying this game. Diffuser is still down, and the Maestro will tag him away. Uzis on very limited HP. He needs to be worried about the zaps, and Souffle will get it done. I mean, I guess technically Uzis hasn't died to a gun.
True. Ooh.
Finally, Daystar get on the board. The comeback could be brewing
we know how
as
they play,
Falcons get beat on every single step of their entry.
I like that statement from LickyFact. We heard it briefly there. We know how they play. Falcons can lock in. 5 lives left to try to make this victory happen up against Daystar. They can reset a little bit, not getting down after a round like that. But again, I love the confidence coming out from Daystar. An early run out from the Mozzie, then constant swings over towards Cigar. The Evil Eyes gave them information. The Clash gave them information. It's not just dumb, raw aggression, right? They did it with information. So it's strategy behind the aim, and I warned you before this match started, if Daystar are showing up hot, if Falcons do underestimate them, then Daystar can punish. They can be such a deadly team when they're shooting right, when everything goes their way. Falcons have been aggressive on their half, but I don't think it was disrespectful aggression. I actually think it was more respectful aggression because they didn't want to let Daystar play their game. They didn't want to let Daystar get set up. Now on the defense, of course, Daystar will be able to get set up no matter what. They can play their game plan no matter what Falcons try to do, unless they catch them off guard with some kind of a rush or something. But this will be the job for Falcons to close this out on one of the next 5 attacks.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of opportunity to ensure this one doesn't fall away from you here. And I mean, Falcons obviously have shown issues. That's why they're towards the bottom of this group. They have not been the typical, unbeatable team that we've seen through countless events since really when they were on BDS way back many, many moons ago. And Daystar are a tough squad. Every single team that is here at the Six Invitational, even if they are in dead last, can beat you if you stop trying or play like a bunch of silly little geese. But I don't think Falcons are in the geese school. They're Falcons. They're fearsome birds, not silly honk-honk birds.
Hold on, Parker. Geese can be very fearsome. You ever fought a Canada goose?
I don't go out of my way to fight birds.
They go out of their way to fight you. Those things are aggressive.
They do not fight me. Have you been fought by a Canada goose?
Yes.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Either way, Falcons will look to sink their talons into this Daystar team. We'll go to work on this middle floor now. Logic bombs going off, silenced by the mute jammers, some of which are inside the site that will give some coverage to this Daystar team. This is a familiar spot for Shaiko. I feel like he spent about half of this series so far on red stairs, either by hatch or down towards the bottom, roaming in this part of the map. LickyFact, the only one taking some serious damage. Azuki, a small scratch on the paint.
Yeah, LickyFact gotten quite deep, though, already at the bottom of red stairs. This is going to be a bakery-focused execute. Seal is trying to go for the reinforcement. Is it too late? Yes, because LickyFact is just behind him. Nobody else is on this bottom floor. They've got too many roamers, Parker.
And use this for the second time in 2 rounds. Will now die. His only 2 deaths so far. PKN and Seal are gone. Seal has unfortunately died early now 4 times. He's been the opening pick. Shaiko holding those stairs, waiting for Souffle to come back to earth. He will do so. Azuki on borrowed time. Jogor full HP. That's right now the stakes for Daystar. This is their map. They've managed to muster a single round, but things are not very good. Bride in the site, attempted the plant, falls off. Jogor last alive for Daystar. Who will find him? LickyFact does first, but loses the duel. So Jogor tucked away over towards Whiskey. And honestly, all a Daystar might need a drink after this one. Bride pulls off the defuse, playing the 3 remaining players. The Falcons will hunt for the final kill. Shaiko will get it. And map 1 is done. Falcons soaring to a 7-1 victory. And they've got their map up next. Could be a quick 2-0, Jesse.
14 kills for the French phenom. Shaiko is playing his game today. Looked phenomenal in that match, of course. Ended things off with a bang. Went for the same spawn peak 4 rounds in a row. Never actually found success with it, but the aggression was always there. The passion was always there, and the confidence sky high for Falcons after stealing their opponent's map pick. Daystar, I mean, you feel it in the body language, Parker. That looks like defeat.
Yeah, they look like they've just come home from the worst night of their lives.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to tell you.
And it's 11 a.m.
And yeah, it's not night at all, unless maybe they didn't sleep. I'm not sure. But if they do try to sleep, they'll probably see nightmares of Shaiko in their dreams. 87 kills for Shaiko so far at this event. Depending on how deep this series goes, he is well within the possibility of breaking 100 frags before we get out of the first phase. That is an insane thing to say.
Could you imagine? I mean, already through group stage, getting triple digits for Shaiko. It's in the cards, and if Daystar don't get their act together on map 2, I feel like we're headed straight there.
I have to imagine so as well. It's their map. Falcons are going to their map, Jesse. Like,
Yeah.
I understand that they're probably going to start on the weaker side because that's how it usually goes, but I don't know. It was a rough outing from Daystar. They looked more promising on that second side, which then asks the question, why didn't you start on that side?
Sure.
You got to choose which side you go to, but I don't think they were expecting to get 6-0'd with the first
Yeah.
half of the map.
I mean, listen, Shaiko, no doubt the MVP in that one. He played phenomenally, but we got to praise Ligifac as well. It can't all be about the big star of
course.
Shaiko because Ligifac hasn't had the best tournament so far. So in this map, showing up, getting that confidence back could be big for the captain.
Yeah, absolutely. The lowest rated player on the team, which is quite stunning. He's not usually in that situation. Well, we do have a long day ahead of us. The A stream is likely still going, so peek on over there while we're on a break, and we'll come back with map number 2.
Available now.
I would reinforce off these 2 walls here. This would be a flex wall. We're gonna put it like this, just say that it's like a flex. I don't know, I'm gonna do that. Then positioning, we'd have the 2 brow play here with the C4 and like the DMR, you could play between like weed, like the metal area is what we call it. So we can either react to that or the weed wall based off what they're doing. We'd start the Valk, I'll just put it right here so it's easy to see on that side. And then we'd have the Fenrir as the last guy. He'd be here, contesting for tools side, really kind of being a menace over there. And this guy as well, like when they're trying to go for that tools wall, I'd have these zombie pressed up unless there's lower pressure, like trying to contest off that door, just being a menace a little bit. Not really looking for a pick, but looking to delay time.
Basically for the start, we can put it like that. So I would put him like around these windows. So if we need help to hold or whatever, would be rotate. If your Azami really fall back and manage to, like, I think it would be around here, right?
She'd be like all the way back. I'd put her like right here probably.
So, like the things how it would go as well. Like once we take like the control of garage, I would put maybe the Capitan around this area just to hold this position. Normally they place our jabs and rotate out for the door to help onto the push. I think we would put the Ing here to be playing into the main breach, but it depends on the green take. Like if you're trying to force too much the green take, I would put like the Ing here to come to try to help. But if it's like you're just giving away, trying to fall it back, I would just keep the Ing there. So like if you guys are just falling back to hold into power positions, I would say that the Deimos can come from below as well to try to help. And as I said, this Hibana here, it will be like a flex. I don't really count on her. It's more to get the Clash attention. If Clash is still here, it's
that's
good.
the biggest thing. I would want the Clash to rotate over play Ivy. Is like what I'd want originally.
Yeah, so if like the Clash goes back into this side, I would put this Hibana to try to sneak in and play.
And the 2 playing back here is ideally what it'd be.
And then after like dealing with the Clash over here, I think this guy would be already played. So it's like he won his fights as well, or he lost, and then we got the control of this area kind of, and we just crossed.
That's assuming nobody dies early.
Yeah.
Or just swings and gets killed, you know.
Exactly.
Because that's what happens a lot of times in our game. Like
Making the capital fire over there, and then
dude,
exploded.
I'm gonna go call out for this.
Still have the flashes from Hibana.
You do.
It could go either way, frankly.
It could go either way.
Yeah.
Very, very close though.
Yeah.
Honestly, a lot of players are scared of you, obviously. We were suspicious because you're too good. Like that was literally what happened. And I'm the one who sent the email. So like, I'm the one who did it. That's the story, right? None of us really thought that you were legit back then.
Well, map number 1 was Daystar's pick, and it might be a map they are soon to forget. 7-1 for Falcons as they have liftoff. We now stare down what could be a fast 2-0 here for the two teams that are competing for 3rd and 4th in their group. For those that have not been following along, Fury and Wildcard will finish top 2 in this particular group. So Falcons hoping to avoid that lower bracket run. If they do it at all, they make it. Daystar will need the reverse sweep, but they go to a map that Jesse, they haven't been particularly strong on. Nighthaven Labs.
Yeah, of course, we saw this back on Tuesday when Daystar played against Wildcard. That was a 7-3 loss. So yet another map that we don't have strong results on for the APAC team. Could this time be different? You certainly don't think so. 11% support behind Daystar. Well, they're going to need every percentage points that they can, Parker. Shaiko has been insane so far today. Liquefac as well. Can they provide the upsets up against Falcons, or Daystar headed down?
Well, map number 1 was pretty much all Falcons all across the board. Of the 8 rounds, 7 first bloods, by Falcons. The team that struck first did go on to win every single time on that map. Nighthaven Labs will function a little bit differently than Cafe. Cafe is a very vertical map. There are lots of ways to attack it, but you do kind of get bound by a couple entry points. You cannot say the same for Nighthaven Labs. No matter which bomb site you go to on any of those 3 floors, there is a lot of flexibility, and certain parts of Nighthaven Labs will function like other maps. The one that we tend to reference most frequently is going to be that top floor bomb site or any of the middle floor bomb sites that connect and adjoin to that garage and warehouse portion of the map with the rafters. That will function similarly to Clubhouse, which will be a utility battle that will then come to blows before you can pull off the execute. I mean, granted, it was 6 rounds on defense for Falcons, so we didn't really see a lot of objective play, but usually they're a very good objective-focused team.
Yeah.
They will be starting on attack. We will get to see very quickly how practiced they are at getting that diffuser in and how many plants that Brede can get with that diffuser.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen Falcons obviously go for the very traditional bans of both electricity operators, so Big Day for the Amish, Bandit and Kaid both being taken out, and then Daystar removing the Thermite and the Monty. You might think that's a full focus onto Brede, and in part it is. Thermite's a very common operator for Brede to play here on Nighthaven Labs, but we've actually seen users pick up the Monty on this map from time to time. We've seen him play the Blackbeard a little bit too, so if there is some shield play, certainly Brede would be the one you look to first, but Uzis capable of playing those shields as well. Based on the initial lineup we're looking at, I don't think we're going to see a shield coming out from them. Uzis initially hovering on the Amaru, goes back over to the Grim, so unlikely to be a fast rush play, but they've got the tools they need to get these walls open. The Ace charges should be able to open the walls despite the mirror windows that Azuki is soon to place on the walls.
Saw quite a bit of Mira on Cafe, played by Falcons, and obviously a strong op. Used to be in always banned territory, but now relatively easy to counter for a lot of these teams. She's a pain to deal with if you don't bring the right tools, but attackers having repick has also worked to make Mira a little bit less potent. That's quite the battle now from Souffle, who has to worry about what lays beneath as he impacts off that Mira window, and I think he managed to grab the Selma that Brede had thrown out. I don't know how many he got and where Brede has used them, but might be some small cause for concern that only one remains, but look at all of the hard breach that's been brought by Falcons. So even if the ace is not the most effective, you still had 4 of those secondary hard breachers brought by Solotov and Uzis.
Look at that, in a bit of a Daystar sandwich with Souffle above and Pecan down below. He does manage to force the Maestro back, though, with the impact, so those Salmas were able to go off successfully. I do think one was denied, but in the end, they managed to open up a breach that they can crouch on through. So IT not an issue. Information on Pecan as well, and it's the opening pick for Liquifac. Aware of that flank, really good to keep your head up for that if you're the Buck.
And he honestly wasn't far away from tagging Souffle with those shots either. He sees the Maestro, Souffle taking a lot of damage, Liquifac taking some as well, trying to open up sight lines. If Souffle's attention is on Liquifac, then you have to worry about the other 3 players on Daystar. Shaiko's been downed. Seal will die due to Solotov, and I imagine that will be to aid Shaiko, because that's Rafters control now completely cleared out. Zami on Rafters, a Capitao flushing him out. Are we on Clubhouse? No, we're not. We're on Nighthaven Labs, and it tends to in the same way.
Yeah, it was Seal that downed Shaiko, but punished really hard by that Capitao from Solotov, so perfectly played by Falcons. They'll take that trade. Now Daystar try to get aggressive to equalize the numbers. A bit more damage onto Solotov. The HP isn't great for Falcons, but the aim sure is. 5-2.
This is one of those shots where you just kind of have to suck in your gut and go, and that's about it, because there's nothing more to be said. Souffle has been under fire and has taken damage in pretty much every minute so far of this first round. What little remained of him is found by Solotov. Azuki shuts down what remains of Shaiko. A nice shot over to Solotov, and Uzis goes as well. He runs out of bullets, and that's the only reason why he doesn't get Liquifac. A great try from Azuki. The best individual effort for Daystar in this series, but the round still goes to Falcons.
Yeah, nice attempt coming out from Azuki, the 19-year-old hard support on Daystar, but it's not quite enough. Those early frags coming out from Solotov, just way too much to deal with. That man advantage was great. Very standard push coming out from Falcons. They get the IT wall, they then focus Rafters. Standard strat with that Capitao, beautifully played. That Buck, of course, from Liquifac, I think, doing so much work just to even if he didn't get those kills, to disrupt the positions, to shut down that flank. They seemed super aware of what Daystar wanted to go for, and none of the tricks that Daystar tried to bring out, the impacts from the Maestro, the flank down below coming out from Pecan, even that Azami inside of Rafters, standard play, but none of it was really causing problems for Falcons. They always seem to have the answers, much like Cafe.
An incredible shot. One where it's like, you're over the age of 22. You're like, how did you see that?
Yeah, literally.
Crazy things being done here by Falcons as they want to avoid being shoved down into that lower bracket. Phase 2 will begin in a day and a half at this point, I suppose. Almost 2 days, I guess.
We do unfortunately have a day off tomorrow. There's no Six Invitational Siege to be played.
What will the people do?
Go outside, I guess?
Ew.
Ew.
Graphics aren't even good. We will obviously get the day to do some prep work, maybe explore a little bit of Paris. You and I haven't really been able to see all that much outside of some of the sites around our hotel. Obviously, Paris, an incredible city. I've been here a number of times. It's your first time here, but I mean, our very first Siege Major ever was in Paris, so it is nice to be back in technically the home of Ubisoft. I know the home of Rainbow Six is Montreal. The home of Ubisoft is here in France. An incredible country, and honestly, I'm really excited to see everybody who will be joining us abroad. Joe Gore with the leadoff pick. Down goes Solitov so far through this entire match. The team who strikes first goes on to win the round. That is obviously a boon for Daystar. They'll have their work cut out for them. Last round was not particularly close, unless Azuki goes off. I don't know if we'll see it as close this time around.
Looks like a bit of a minimal take from Falcons. They've got that control of cafeteria. They're working their way towards vending stairs. They are aware of roamers towards this top floor. They know they haven't cleared this out, but they're not so concerned about it. Would rather flank watch and just push this one-dimensional push through the exo stairs, through into assembly, and maybe into kind of that nano area as well to try to get a plant down. Timing is going to be critical for Daystar. When do these roamers return to site? Can they get control of control and stop something from happening?
Kills keep coming out for Daystar now as gotta worry whether Falcons have lost the plot here. Joe Gore's been dropped. Leaky Fact dies shortly thereafter. Azuki is an absolute monster on this Mira. 6 kills! A flawless round by Daystar, so who strikes first goes on to win every time. But man, what happened between these maps? Where did Azuki come from?
Yeah, no kidding, Parker. He's been really stepping up now for his team, just as that hard anchor support player once again. Started his pro career last season on Rival Esports, where they finished 6th place in the Asia League Stage 2 last season. Moved over to Daystar at the start of this season, and of course has had the success that they have had. Not quite making it to any of those international events before SI, but having some regional success. 2nd place in Stage 2 in the Asia League, 4th place back in Stage 1. Certainly a very capable player, and again, at just 19 years old, one of those up-and-comers that people really got to start keeping an eye on if his career continues going in this trajectory.
Yeah. Incredible stuff as he's got 6 of the 8 kills at present by Daystar, and all of those coming in very clutch moments. That was quite the shot by Joe Gore to shut down Falcons on that very first play. And I mean, if you're Usus, you want that kill. That goes against you back, as Azuki was playing. Azuki was playing very brazenly. Defense now upstairs for Daystar as they will fully reinforce off this portion of IT. Set some barbed wire out on out on that connector door, out on rafters, and now you've got Seal playing on the Azami. So I have to imagine that there'll be another real dedicated hold up top on that rafters catwalk portion of this map. No Capitao present, so you won't be able to use any fire arrows to dislodge these defenders, but other tools exist.
Yeah, the only operator changing up is Souffle on that Valkyrie. We got to see placement of a couple of those Valcams. The one in IT is really exciting for me, Parker. If someone is to go down below with a Nitro Cell, could be a deadly strategy. I know Souffle is probably looking to do that himself. Only Azuki also brings one of those C4s, and he's kind of been their main site player so far. No issues opening up the wall. The mirror window was placed, but they weren't really threatening it with anything. So now the connector wall can get worked on as well, and as you correctly pointed out, Parker, they don't have the Capitao, so Raptors is not really a concern for them. They're probably going to let Seal exist here for the whole round, and at the same time push through connector, push through meeting, and try to get a plant down just behind pillar.
Yeah, I mean, the buck means that you're going to be playing a lot of vertical back in round number 1. They've swapped that off. Falcons getting rid of him. Falcons getting rid of the Capitao, so their focus is not going to be on clearing out Raptors with that same level of heat while picking somebody off from below. And I mean, LeakyFact did have some troubles down there. I don't think it was the most effective use of his time. So they've decided to forego one set of those secondary hard breach gadgets as well. So you don't have as much wiggle room should some of those hard breaches get dealt with. Daystar were quite good at destroying them with an impact nade previously. Shaiko eliminates Jogor in what is a mirror of the previous round. Shaiko coming out ahead, obviously a big boon for his team. And, well, would you look at that? They're not particularly well guarding this part of Raptors. So Usus can just walk up. Down goes Souffle. 2 taken off the board now for Daystar with a minute still to go.
So they have committed to Raptors, actually, Parker. No Capitao needed. It's the Grim Blackbeard combination coming through, which has been deadly so far. 3 site players remain. Seal did get back in after putting up some of those Kiba barriers, but Shaiko's in control of IT. They've applied pressure, looks back going for a meeting flank as well, so there are Falcons all over this map.
Seal first on the board with 2 kills very quickly. Usus and Bride are gone. And back to a level man count. No logic bombs remain for LeakyFact, no air jabs for Shaiko, no Bs for Solitov, so completely free of utility. You are just guns at this point. I guess you got flashbangs, that'll count for something, right? Shaiko finds Pecan, down goes Seal to Solitov, and, well, it was Azuki who clutched out before. Can he do it this time too? He's good for 1, but they will double up on him and not allow him to do what he's done in both of the previous rounds. Falcons take this top floor for the second time in 3 rounds, and now if you're Daystar, you got to figure out where to go next.
It was a really difficult push, Parker. It was not a simple one from Falcons. They had players all over the map. At the end there, you had Saltov pushing in through Aqua Hall. You had LeakyFact pushing in through the meeting hall. Then you had Shaiko pushing in through IT. Earlier on, they had players towards Rafters as well. So there were so many different dimensions to that push. And sometimes those can be the hardest pushes to execute because your coordination's got to be really on point. Everybody's got to be in their proper positions. Trading becomes a lot more difficult. But if you are as good a team as Falcons, it's also really tough to hold on to that, and Daystar just didn't know where to look. There were players left, right, above, below, anywhere that they could turn their head. They were finding some bullets from Falcons. Just started to tear them apart. You got to wonder, maybe is there some way to stop them before they can get into those spots? Smoke out the Aqua door, try to lock down Raptors a little bit harder, try to lock down IT a little bit harder. It was a very strong push coming out from Falcons, and Daystar just weren't able to stand up to the heat.
Another great shot on a very similar angle on Rafters. Now, I do kind of like this mirror ban here, and I want to say, I have gripes with people who play this game and they ban operators that style on them.
Yeah.
But the mirror's been styling on them.
Yeah, a little bit,
And I don't necessarily think the mirror windows have been a huge success for Daystar. I think they've obviously been quite impactful at being able to allow them to play farther back. You saw how they decided, we're not going to actively hold Rafters. We're going to put up those mirror windows, and we can have that line of sight from farther back.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's good. And Mirror is an operator that enables that quite uniquely. But if there's a guy just holding the Vector, just shredding you time and time again, make him play Goyo.
Yeah, and also, honestly, it also opens up their hard breaching abilities, right? They kind of had to bring Ace or Habana when that mirror was existent, because if you tried to just bring can openers, you were risking getting nitroed or impacted from that mirror window. Now that they know Mirror is getting banned out, they've already banned the Bandit Kaid. These walls are absolutely free, so they can just bring the can openers. They brought 2 sets of them here on Bride and Solitov. No problems, and they can kind of work a little bit more utility, and they've got the nades still on Bride, who's playing the striker. They've got the Bs coming through from Solitov. They don't have to waste an operator slot on something like an Ace, so it frees up Bride a little bit more too, which I really do appreciate coming through from Falcons. No shield this time around. I did mention that would be something that we saw from Usus more so than Bride on this map. I thought he used the Blackbeard excellently last round, but this time going for the Ying, and an opening pick from LeakyFact finds Azuki.
And Azuki's been bar none the best player. 3 people on Daystar still alive, combining for a single kill. Seal's not that much better with 2 just to himself. Pecan getting his very first kill. It'll come in round number 4. Not a bad time for that to happen. Saw Seal take some time to get on the board, as well as Solitov almost misses that first engagement. Pecan will immediately pay for his crimes, dying down below. Solotov can now take control of warehouses. Shaiko is looking for an opportunity here. This is the third time this top floor bomb site will be played in 4 rounds. And Jesse, this one's not going much better than the previous attempts.
No, it looks just like the last round, Parker, where Falcons have players all over the map. We're talking about rafters, IT, electrical, everywhere you can imagine. There are players from Falcons, and they are dominating for now.
Seal has to pull out the Deeg in a pretty desperate attempt here. Now going for a double reload and paying some homage to another game that says it's always faster to swap to your secondary than to go for the reload. Solotov walks in and murders the last 2 players on Daystar. 3-1 for Falcons. And a reminder, Falcons chose this map.
Yeah.
Which means Daystar gets to choose which side they want to go on to. Typically, you choose the side you think is better. The assumption would be that Daystar could hopefully run up the score, and then Falcons would claw back in the second half. That has not happened. Falcons having quite a leisurely day at this point. Daystar have only been able to win 2 rounds across both maps.
No attack timeout being called by Harambe. I was wondering if it would be the decision now after round 4 to make something happen, try to tie this up at 3 apiece. He's going to trust in his team's ability to play those other bomb sites. Basement will open up for round 5. They were successful on it the last time thanks to the heroics from Azuki. And then round 6 will be interesting. They've obviously favored this top floor. I hope they don't go to it for a 4th time, Parker. It's just Falcons look way too good. They've shown 3 different looks attacking this bomb site, and all of them were very strong. So I hope we'll see one of the mid-floor sites coming up from Daystar in round 6. I think that's probably the reason why Azuki doesn't feel the need to call the attack timeout, because we are going probably away from that bomb site. But I also think that Falcons are likely to adapt, pushing on to Daystar this time around. The defensive lineup has changed a little bit coming through from Daystar. In fact, it's changed quite dramatically. Every single player has swapped their lineup, maybe going for a bit more of an anchor setup rather than that heavy roam they went for previously. Falcons kind of have an opportunity now to change their minds too. Do we maybe go for a full roam clear with this Dokkaebi and the Ram rather than the direct site hit that we did last time?
Dokkaebi and the Striker carries over from that lineup they had in round number 2. But yeah, the Ash, the Grim, and the Ram, all brand new. I don't know how much the Ace ban has been hindering them. But, I mean, you saw Ace in every single round of the first 3. So get rid of him and you have to bring some other hard breach or none at all. Just bring the secondary can openers. I mean, I guess you, as you pointed out, you solved that problem by getting rid of the Mira. So now you've gone from what? Back in round 1, you had the Selmas, 3 Selmas, 2 can openers each, so 7 pieces of hard breach utility. Here you have
4.
Yeah, you've got 2 can openers.
4 can openers. Bride on the Striker.
True. I forgot about the secondary gadget.
It'll get you.
It does. Just like how sometimes you went to throw a nitro cell and you throw a proximity lamp.
Intentionally.
Solotov with the very first kill. It's sealed to die yet again. There's Pecan gone. Shaiko's traded out by a nitro cell from Joe Bot, as he called him. And then Joe Gore calls him T-Bot to pay some lip service to Shaiko's insults. Maybe try to get under his skin. I don't think it will. Joe Gore and Azuki now both on top cargo stairs. Solotov will pick one off. We still have 1 minute and 15 seconds, and Bot, all in the chat as they just talk their ish. Azuki with 8 kills will need to go much higher, won't get it. Yuzis sends him home. Shaiko says, focus on your game. 4-1 for Falcons.
Maybe some genuine advice at the end there from Shaiko. Daystar needing to lock in a little bit. Sometimes when these things were going through the chat, Parker, there were some questionable swings from Daystar. The window position from Falcons really strong in the midst of that. They were able to catch some of those Daystar players off guard. Daystar loved to call their opponents bot. I remember it was their game against Furia yesterday, I believe, where it was on bank and they got the opening pick, called, I forget who it was, probably Herds a bot, and then lost the round right after. They love that term. They love to type in chat, even though sometimes it doesn't really work to their benefits.
I mean, you got every bomb site open, so if you're Daystar, you can go wherever you want. They'll go back downstairs. I mean, nothing is really working here, and this isn't a particularly good map for Daystar either, so I mean, there's going to be some struggles.
That's a good point, Parker. Maybe they're just not so comfortable on either of the mid-floor sites, and certainly they have their problems. Storage and control often very susceptible to just a rush through the storage window. Kitchen, cafeteria. kind of cheeks, just a bad site in general. So I can understand why they want to stick to the top and bottom floors, but things haven't been working out that well for them. They're going to change up their strategy on the bottom floor instead. They're going to bring that Clash out from Pecan, and I really am curious what he's going to do with this. Up in Cafeteria right now, which if he continues to exist here, then a direct EXO hit might become really difficult to pull off from the Falcons, but initial positioning suggests they could be going more direct just through the main breach. Brede down here on the Fuse Shield, hoping to clear some utility, and what an entry from LickyPack. Floorboards are his friends, maybe two.
They're going to give him the engagement. It's as to whether or not he'll be able to come out ahead. Yes, so methodical. Souffle with the slow peek and that sidearm. Oh boy, it'll get you. Shaiko had 14 kills in the previous series, which, if you recall, pushed him towards that 100-point mark. He was at 87. He's got 3 here, so 90 kills so far for Shaiko through phase 1.
Wow.
That is an outrageous amount.
Yeah. 2 aces is all it would take to break triple digits. Can't get it this round, but can at least get 3 more if he's feeling lucky. This Clash is going to be a bit of a problem. I kind of like the combo being set up with both the Clash and the smoke. Getting into cargo is going to be really difficult from the Falcons. That's one way to try it. Shaiko hits the head of Seal instead. They get it down, but they can't finish it off. Jogor finds 1 for his troubles, but Pecan gets another.
I like this retake from Daystar. Good enough to get 1, but there are some problems that you have to confront. You still got a smoke in the hands of Uzis. You've got 2 cluster charges from the Fuse. There goes out that last death mark on one of the 2 remaining players, and Joe will get hunted down. EFAC waiting for him to spin around as down goes the shield. Thought he had the read on the foot there. Brede will get the defuse plant down successfully, unbeknownst to Daystar, who will now need to scramble out of Nano towards the bomb site and confront some of these players who are directly on the site and those that still have control above. 2 souls from Falcons on the floor above you, lording over that defuse kit with Brede there, and you have to deal with the shield. Brede putting the PMM to good use, shrugging off a bunch of damage from the Warden, who now gets ever closer, and it'll happen again. Brede doing the same thing back to back. An incredible first half by Falcons. They drop only a single round.
Shaiko hit the bot so fast after that post plant, by the way. That was incredible speed to come out from the Star Fragger of Falcons. The 2K on the Fuse Shield. You don't see that every day. And yeah, I mean, Daystar just unable to really lock down the site. I did like their cargo hold, genuinely. I thought that smoke plus Clash combo was a good idea. It was able to stall things out for Falcons for a little bit. Got them a couple of kills, a kill and a down at the very least. But as soon as that gets given up, you saw the Clash inside the site, not really able to do much. I think afraid of the players up above that could have gone for that punish. Kind of just wasting electricity in the midst of that. Nobody near him to zap, so had to pull out the gun, do his best. Daystar, 5-1 doesn't look great, but it's better than a 6-0, Parker, and that's what they were facing down on map 1.
Yeah, I mean, small improvements.
They call me Mr. Optimism.
You're also the numbers guy, and you know numbers better than anybody else, Jesse.
And I've crunched them, and we have confirmed that 1 is greater than 0.
I'm glad we got here. You, the viewer, are now much smarter for that statistic. No, I mean, but the difference is that Falcons didn't choose map 1. So Falcons are on the stronger side of Cafe. That's how they go 6-0.
Yes.
Falcons were on the weaker side of Nighthaven Labs.
Yes.
And they still won 5 rounds. So who knows what happens on this side?
Yeah.
I don't want to be Mr. Doom and Gloom to you being Mr. Optimism. But
Fair
I don't
enough.
think things are about to get suddenly better
Yeah.
for Daystar.
I do think it's a boon. You don't have to play against Shaiko on the Deimos anymore. It's usually, it's usually Shaiko we see on the Deimos. LickyFac having a great entry in that previous round. Just feels like Daystar were hungry to challenge him and maybe shouldn't have been so hungry. We saw the Cafe defenses be very aggressive from Falcons. Spawn peeks and jump outs every single round. It's harder to do that on a map like Nighthaven Labs, but LickyFac proves not impossible. Nor is it for Solitov. That is a double through the IT window breach. And, I mean, what else would they put in the chat?
They love it, don't they?
Yep. And I mean, they tried to open it, I think, with the can openers, and it's too tough with the Mira up, Parker. You really need a ranged hard breach. Hibana is open. They banned out only the ace. You could have brought that to try to get the wall open, but instead you tried to go very risky with that close range angles. They both died on the stairs, so they weren't even close to putting the gadgets on the wall, I suppose. But even now, this wall is very awkward to get open because you don't have ranged hard breach.
And it is very common for Hibana to use that 2-and-2 combination to open up this wall. We see teams do it all the time. They will swap out players and, well, get one more as they just keep peeking this opening on this IT wall. You hear him go on rappel, out goes the nitro cell. We have an opportunity to pull it back in. They haven't called their timeout. I assume they will at the tail end of this round. Seal now rotating on over, spotted by the default cam as he works in through connector. He's got a good read on it, but Shaiko will get kill number 5, and it's series point for Falcons.
3 kills through the IT window is, I mean, that's a crime in most jurisdictions. I cannot believe they get away with that on the side of Falcons. They get series point, upper bracket point as well. You were wondering about attack timeout, Parker. I am not seeing one.
Okay.
I mean, we're seeing Harambe take a swig of that water bottle, so we are just raw dogging it for the final, potentially final round here on Nighthaven Labs. Maybe just thinking there's not a whole lot to say at this point. Falcons have been so dominant, so aggressive, so good. Everyone has been on point for this team. Daystar, we've seen some moments. Don't get me wrong. Azuki at the start of this match was absolutely fantastic. There were some cool plays on the defense. I think of Cafe to start things off. They played confident. They played aggressive. They got a round win. But you can't say much more than that, unfortunately, for the APAC team. The lower bracket is calling for their name.
Yeah, there hasn't been much to talk about in this matchup, right? I mean, Daystar survived this group in large part because Elevate blew up.
Yeah.
If Elevate wasn't in this group, I don't know if Daystar has what it takes to make it out. So they've been given, obviously, a big, big boon because of that.
If Elevate even play like they did against Wildcard, I don't know if Daystar make it out.
Yeah.
That's kind of the problem. We do see some of these less experienced teams struggle when they get to international events.
You mentioned that a lot of these players did come from Direwolves.
Yep.
But again, they didn't really gain a lot of valuable international experience.
Yeah.
So Direwolves have made events, but just like some of these other teams like Fury and some of the other APAC teams that we've seen, you might get an event or two, but you play a couple maps and then you go home.
True.
Yes, that is experience, but not particularly meaningful experience.
Yeah, and it is only 2 players, right, Pecan and Souffle, I believe, that did come from Direwolves. Harambe, the coach, as well. But they still have a lot of fresh players who have not been in a situation like this before. And I think for the context that they're in, they certainly have shown some really impressive stuff across this event in the group stage. Game's not over yet. Can still potentially claw this back. They'll start with a logic bomb to try to clear through some of these roamers. There's a heavy extension to the top 2 floors, and it'll be Souffle who suffers the first defeat. Zoltov finds him to start and uses, takes down the shield.
Oh my goodness, this is a mercy killing as it's a flick on over from Uzis. Pecan and Azuki last alive. Azuki netting most of his kills in those first 3 rounds. He's gone awfully quiet since then. Not much to show for it from Daystar on the offense front. They have their work cut out for them. Currently outmanned, outgunned. They managed to get Uzis on the run as he heads down to that first floor and will rotate on over, maybe linking up with some of his other teammates. There's still plenty of time, if drones exist, for Pecan and Azuki to figure out where these remaining defenders will be. Uzis ego peeking the door, checking for intel, and Azuki, the hero of the first few rounds, will be the last opportunity for Daystar to stay in this series. The lower bracket is calling unless Azuki can pull off an impressive 1v2 clutch. He's already picked up a couple kills in this round, so what more can he do?
He's got plenty of time, Parker, and actually sees a player through the floorboards. If he was able to fish for that kill, it could have been huge. Didn't find it yet, though. 35 seconds to play with. He's got to find some way to get to the bomb site quickly.
13 kills on Solotov. Beckoning him to get there faster, and he called his own shot. Impressive stuff by the Turkish Terror. Asking for Izuki, asking you shall receive. Identical scores across both maps, 7-1, 7-1. Falcons take the series 2-0. Daystar go to the lower bracket. Their run begins in a couple days.
I won't say all the fears of Falcons fans have been alleviated after a game like that, but at least you got some confidence heading into the playoffs. At least you've got that second life starting in the upper bracket. Falcons will have a chance to redeem themselves after a group stage that didn't meet their expectations. Despite this dominating win against Daystar, Falcons need to be improving if they want to lift the hammer. Of course, that is their goal after the bevy of second places they've experienced this season.
Yeah, almost always the bridesmaid, very rarely the bride. They did win a major to their credit under their old org of BDS.
Yep.
But under Falcons, they have come up empty-handed. They didn't even win EWC under Falcons after they did it multiple times under BDS. So for this team, they've got some work to do. I don't know how much they learned from this particular matchup against Daystar. It seemed like they were playing a lot of default strats. But again, I'm not an analyst and I'm not a color commentator, so what the hell do I know? A very impressive day for everybody on the side of Falcons. Shaiko eclipsing 90 kills through phase 1. He entered today with the most kills, and I suspect he will exit the day with the most kills, as Fantasy and Nip, I believe, have the day off, if memory serves correctly. I'd need to look at that schedule yet again. Shaiko being the MVP is no surprise. 20 kills on the 73 coming in. 93 kills in total, my.
A 20 bomb is particularly crazy given that this game lasted, 16 rounds total? That is an absurd KPR. We were discussing earlier in the broadcast booth in the green room, if any 20 bombs had been achieved, I won't say confidently that this is the first of the tournaments, but there have not been many up until this point.
I believe the question was 20 bombs in a single map.
Oh,
yes.
Well, that changes things.
I fear that you did not have your cup of Folgers and your ears were not perked up enough. June came very close yesterday.
He did. He did.
And that was an incredible matchup. Secret, obviously, were quite good. They get the day off today.